art one.
We are live from ICCCon in Nashville, Tennessee, and this is Flynn Hendricks coming to you from the podcast room. And 2022 has been an insane year, and here it is right now getting even crazier. I am live on stage for my first live podcast of the year, and I've got two members of the Eclectic... hang on. You gave me the side eye. You threw me off. You threw me off.
You could do it.
The Eclectic Collectors podcast, and you threw me the side eye and threw me off. I apologize.
No, there was no side eye there. I didn't.
You gave me the.
If I gave you side eye, you give me side elbow. So
you gave me the podcaster's eyebrow. It threw me off. I apologize for being unprofessional, so I'll take the people's elbow off stage. Watch my live stream for that. But no, seriously, guys.
It doesn't matter what your name is. No,
no, it really doesn't. But the sign's right there, so I won't say it. Anyway. This is going to be an exciting weekend here, and if you haven't got your tickets already, I've been posting like crazy on social media to get you guys out here. We've got everybody from the Clone Wars cast, like James Arnold Taylor, Ashley Eckstein, Anna Graves, Matt Lanner. We've even got Ian McDermott, the Emperor, and Anthony Daniels, C-3PO, the only man to be in every Star Wars film that has been recorded so far. Get out here if you are in the area. Get those tickets. Come meet them. Come check out the podcast booth. I even have a table back here. I've got wrestling belts, ring-worn wrestling belts, if you want to get a photo op with them. I've got shirts. I've got pictures. I've got vinyl decals. Everything you've got will help support this podcast, and a portion of every sale will go to the Nashville Humane Society.
Nice.
So come out there and check it out.
He's got lightsabers too, by the way.
Oh, I do. I have Darth Vader and Ahsoka lightsabers back there. If you want photo ops with those, come see me. And all portions of the sales will go to a great cause.
They're pretty.
But now, this is where things are going to get fun. Because normally, as a wrestling heel, as a wrestling champion, Southern States champion for UCW, the longest running professional company in the state of Kentucky, I am normally the one running my mouth behind a microphone. But I couldn't pass up the chance to let you fine gentlemen grill me live on stage here.
Oh, I love grilling people on stage. And by the way, this thing is made of fine, genuine leather.
I think it's called pleather. That's what they give hills, right?
What is that, velvet?
I don't know. I can't picture velvet around this place, But anyway, a cheap little plug for UCW as well, because I've got a stacked booking calendar this summer. We've got a live tour of fairs across Southern Kentucky and Tennessee. I'll be defending the Southern States Championship and competing for the Ultimate Heavyweight Championship as well. So if you want to get connected with me on social media, I'll have all those dates, and you can come check it out and enjoy the fairs as well.
Heck yeah.
But gentlemen, we are here among our people this weekend. We're here to nerd out thanks to Michael Havens.
Yeah.
His episode of my podcast dropped this morning, so if you're not already, scan that QR code, get subscribed, and go check that episode out. Go check out my episodes with previous voice actors, wrestlers, teachers, you name it, I've had them. They've all got a story to tell, and it's a fun experience and a fun conversation for me. So go check it out and stop by the booth this weekend. I'll be broadcasting live as well. But now's the time for me to stop running my mouth. And I'm an open book to you, gentlemen. Nothing's off limits. Wrestling,
nothing's off
nerddom,
limits.
You name it, I want to talk about it.
Oh,
All
man.
right, so just as a wrestling fan, I am a wrestling fan, as my brothers around me. What is the biggest screw up that you've had in the ring? Like the biggest miscue, the biggest botch.
The biggest botch? I'll go ahead and say it was my very first match.
Okay.
In a dingy, rundown hotel that most people will be familiar with in Nashville called Stadium Inn. Thank God it's been condemned and gutted.
Yeah.
It needs to be demolished even past that point. But on a cold November night, November 16th, 2007, I was in a fatal four-way with son of local legend Tony Falk, LT Falk, and two other gentlemen. Well, LT hits me with a reverse version of John Cena's finisher. I land on my head.
Ooh.
I'm still aware of what's going on, and keep in mind, this is my first match. But this ring is nothing but carpet and plywood. I hate to pull the spoiler back, but it was a boxing ring, so not set up the way a normal wrestling ring is.
Not the spring and the step.
I wouldn't even
really
go that
spring,
far.
But
barely. This stage is higher off the ground than that ring was.
Oh, wow.
The ropes were made of tape. Anyway, I land. Wow. I hear the sound of my head hitting the mat, and I hear the referee say, "Time to take it home." So I think he's saying, "Don't kick out." And, of course, it wouldn't make sense for me to kick out of that move anyway, so I didn't. Spoiler to anybody that doesn't know, it's kind of sort of predetermined.
You're not telling me wrestling's not fake?
It's not fake. The F word is a bad word, my friend.
I'm sorry.
But,
I'm sorry. I'm not. Okay, so I'm not as huge wrestling fan. I like the old school wrestling.
Hey, you're my people.
So I'm just trying to throw a little,
yeah,
little love / little shade your way.
That I deserve it after my screw up at the beginning, but I was excited. But that was what I would classify as my biggest screw up, because my thought is, okay, my first opportunity to make an impression. I'm 18 years old, 140 pounds. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm out of my element. I just went through all the training, but I just messed up my first night in, despite how well everything else went to that point. Out the window. You just screwed up. But here we are almost 15 years later at this point.
You're still
going, still worked for WWE in the past, still a 2-time #1 contender for the NWA World Junior Championship, which you can get a picture with that belt at my table if you want. And I've just had a great career past that point, and I don't know if it would have happened if that screw up hadn't happened.
Okay, my question for you is this.
Yes.
Has there ever been a match that you have been in that you went, oh my God, I should not be in this match? Now, it could be good or bad. Like, oh my God, I'm wrestling this guy, he's amazing. Or, oh my God, this guy's gonna destroy me.
I've actually had a couple matches like that where the guys have these reputations as like these, am I allowed to say badass? Is that acceptable?
Sure.
Okay, cool. These badass deathmatch wrestlers that, hit each other with light tubes, chairs wrapped in barbed wire, whatever.
Jesus.
Or, like been in the ring with Demolition Axe back in 2010, or former World Heavyweight Champion Rob Conway, and they request to work with you, and it's like, I don't know if I'm good enough for this, or holy God, Tank is going to murder me, because Tank was the deathmatch guy, and
oh, wow.
If you follow wrestling, you've probably heard about his name on the Southern deathmatch scene. But I mean, you get in there, you work, and it goes off without a hitch, and you feel this sense of validation before you let the self-criticism get back in too. But in all honesty, there's been stuff outside the ring, from getting heat as a heel or the bad guy, where I've just been oblivious to it because I've been so focused on what's going on in there. Okay. Recently, at a UCW show in Salina, I got some fans so riled up, they called the cops.
Oh, wow.
They tried to come over the barricade. One of them actually tried to go and start a fire in the concession stand just to try and hurt me.
Oh, my God.
And I'm oblivious to all of this going on. I win the match. I officially make said title in front of me mine. And then they have to send another guy out to start getting on me, just to brawl with me to get me to the back, so that these fans can't come over the thin rope barricade that is a security barrier. And I'm oblivious to all this.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you wrestle, do you prefer to be the good guy or the bad guy?
Oh, God, no. I prefer to be the bad guy.
Okay, speaking as a fan, there is no good guy or bad guy.
Well, there's
you have the face and the heel.
Okay.
Yeah, I prefer to be the heel.
Okay.
I started as a face, but it's easier to be the heel, and it's easier to make people dislike you
than
it is to make them like you. Now, when I do my podcast, it's a complete 180, because I'm here to help people. I'm here to chat with people, have a great conversation.
Right.
But when I'm wrestling, I don't get paid to be nice.
Right.
I get paid to be the heel.
Well, if you do it good enough, people will love you for hating them.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's so many iconic characters, or, iconic wrestlers that have not cared what the fans thought, and then the fans absolutely love it, to the point to where whether they're good or act bad or whatever.
Would you say like D-Generation X was like that?
No, man. Like, okay, so
because everyone loves Hunter Hearst.
We don't have time for D-Generation X, but I would say like The Rock, Stone Cold, people like that.
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper.
If you didn't have him, Hulkamania wouldn't be as big as it was. WrestleMania wouldn't be what it was. I mean, you'd still have Vince McMahon pushing Hulk Hogan, but you have to have that antagonist for the protagonist. And it's kind of like a thankless job, but after the fact, when hindsight's 2020, people realize that you have to have that strong character to oppose your hero, and you have to wonder, is the hero going to win? Is the hero going to get cheated? Is he going to make it out of this with his championship? And that's the storytelling, and it's something that getting into the acting world has actually helped me out with too. Taking a break from wrestling, coming back, getting representation, learning improv, Shakespeare, and all that. It's helped me treat this more as a form of method acting and improv, because the Flynn you see outside of the ring is completely different from the Flynn you see inside of the ring, but there's still that level of authenticity for who I am as a person that's brought to it as well.
I'd see it.
Well, I want to know a little more about your acting and voice acting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I want to know a little bit more about this podcast.
Yes. Okay. So where do we start? Which would you like to start with?
Your voice acting.
Okay. Yeah, because voice acting actually kind of started a lot of this, and it actually will lead into what happened with this podcast, too. I've become acquainted with a lot of actors around the world, especially silver lining of the pandemic. Zoom became a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten to perform improv across the world, like Philippines, Europe, you name it. And you get to meet these people that are voice actors that may not get recognized because they don't have representation, or you don't know them, but you've heard their voice in a commercial, and they're out there crushing it, but nobody knows their name.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky to call them friends. So that's why I wanted to get this podcast going, because everybody's got a story to tell, and you may know some of these people, or wrestling wise. I call him my wrestling dad, Chris Michaels. He's one of the guys that worked at Ohio Valley Wrestling that trained John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin, Randy Orton. You name a who's who, he helped train them. He helped get them to where they are now. But he's never had that brush with greatness. So that's why I had him as my first guest on the podcast.
Nice.
Just talking about, well, dude, you've been doing this for over 20 years now. You've had those brushes with greatness. You've almost been signed, but it's never happened.
Yeah.
How do you stay motivated? How do you keep going? Or same with voice acting. How do you deal with not getting that audition no matter how good it was and you know you crushed it? How do you not let self-doubt and self-criticism get in and keep that going? What motivates you to keep it going?
Yeah.
And truth be told, I have a love-hate relationship with wrestling to an extent. I love what I do. Some of the people, not so much, because you kind of learn that some people are quality people, some are not. It was a hard habit to break in voice acting because the people there, it literally is a family. There's a room at the table for everybody, whereas in wrestling, it's very selective. It's like a mob mentality. You have to know somebody or break somebody's finger to get in, you know. And But in voice acting, everybody was so supportive of it. And having the wrestling background actually helped me adapt to making a fool of myself and not thinking twice about it. Because if you perform in revealing spandex across the southern United States, knee-high boots, what do you have to think twice about and be afraid of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we only have a couple more minutes here. Tell me about this Tales from the Haunt.
Absolutely. So last season, coming out of the pandemic, or what we thought was coming out of the pandemic, I became a scare actor for Nashville Nightmare.
Oh, nice.
So I was outside on their queue line. So if you ever saw a guy in a clown or a squid mask, you're welcome. I offered you a free prostate exam with a rusty hook. Anyway, basically it was my audio engineer, Jeff, is going to be here this weekend kind of having some fun at the convention, which you all should do as well. We had this idea to talk to scare actors, managers, and everybody that gets involved in the haunt world about what it takes to actually go into that, why we think people are interested in being scared, or, you know, like, I've come to find out, too, half these people that are scare actors used to hate going to haunted houses.
Yeah.
So how does that work? How do you get involved in this world at this point? And it's been a blast, man. Everything's been taken off, and I've been recording so many of these episodes so far in advance that I've got episodes till next March of 2023.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of big guests on. So if you haven't subscribed already, I've got Dan Severn coming on the podcast. I've got Linda Young, the OG voice of Frieza on Dragon Ball. I've got a lot more voice actors that you knew as the voices of your childhood, and a lot of other people that you may not think about. So get subscribed. Thank you guys for coming to this live audition. I'm getting in my voice actor mode here. You guys put the plug in my ear.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for coming into this live podcast here. And get subscribed. Come see me at the booth. Get out there and nerd out and have some fun. Go meet your favorite voice actors. And just support Michael and everything we got going on at ICC this weekend. And before we wrap it, I want to give a shout out to my godfather, Don, going through cancer treatments. Got his first radiation treatment this morning. Everybody here is pulling for you, and we love you.
Pray for you.
Thank you, guys.
This summer, saddle up in Smashville as the Music City hosts the hottest party of the summer, WWE SummerSlam Nashville. For the first time ever at Nissan Stadium, a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll, a whole lot of kick-ass. WWE SummerSlam, Saturday, July 30th. Tickets on sale now.